Edna Molewa. Remember, she passed away on Saturday, September 22nd. She was only 61 years old. Now, the memorial service is happening at the Tshwane Events Centre, and our reporter Offensa Sitimo is there live. Offensa, thank you very much indeed for your time. What's happening there?
Well, thank you very much. There's actually a hive of activity, and as you can hear closely, there are some ladies who are actually singing behind me, which signals that the official memorial service is actually about to get started. But joining me right now to actually tell us a bit more about some of the activities we should expect today is Mr. Albin Modise, who's the spokesperson of the late Environmental Affairs Minister Edna Molewa. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Modise. What should we expect today? It's actually been a hectic week, I can imagine, for you.
It's been a hectic week. I mean, last week the department, as you would correctly remember, we hosted a memorial service for the department. We brought in other key stakeholders within the environment portfolio. Also, the ruling party has been hosting their own memorial service to recognize the work the minister did as a cadre of the movement. Our entities as well, Sand Parks, 2 days ago at Skukuza hosted a memorial service that brought together the key stakeholders in Mpumalanga, the Skukuza area. Today's memorial service is the one that is in line with the commitment by the president that Minister Molewa is going to be accorded Category 1 official funeral, and hence this memorial service, which is driven by government, culminating on Saturday in the official funeral, which will also be hosted here at the Tshwane Events Centre.
Can you mention some of the dignitaries that will be here? I understand the interministerial committee as well on funerals will actually be here. Maybe some of the dignitaries that you can name drop.
Well, in terms of the program, the Minister of Basic Education, Minister Njimuteka, who served with distinction with Minister Molewa on the structures of the Women's League, is expected to address the mourners today, those who will be gathered here to pay homage and respect to Minister Molewa. The minister in charge of the portfolio of higher education, Minister Naledi Pandor, has been tasked by the president to deliver the keynote address on behalf of both the president and the deputy president. And therefore there will be some tributes expected to trickle in from a number of cadres, trade union movement leaders, and those who served with Minister Molewa in her days, and she was a leader in Sefako, as well as the family reflecting on Minister Molewa. But also in the main, the sector would also be here, once again reflecting on the work, but also ultimately saying a big thank you to the minister. And I'm sure we're here to also respect the family, to pay respect to the family, but in the main to really honor the memory and the legacy of Minister Edna Molewa.
If we can just refresh on what actually transpired upon a return working trip from China.
So the minister came back from the official visit that was part of the president's state visit to China within the broader FOCAC program. Upon her return from China, she was unwell. Minister was hospitalized and she was placed in hospital for just about 2 weeks. The doctors diagnosed her with Legionnaire disease, which was treated, but unfortunately her desire to be with us didn't see the light of day. She lost the battle to be with us last week Saturday, and we are also here to say thank you for the tireless hours and days, months, years she gave us as a people, as a country, but also to as an environment sector to also recognize the work she did, as government to thank her for the enormous work she's done from her days as MEC for Environment in the Northwest, her days as Premier in the Northwest, her days as a chairperson of the Portfolio Committee in National Parliament, her days as Minister of Water and Environmental Affairs, Social Development, but ultimately her program and agenda as a disciplined member of the President's Cabinet within the broader environment portfolio, driving the agenda of government on National Development Plan, but in the ultimate end, sustainable development goals that we pursue as a country.
And her colleagues at Sefako Makgatho Health Sciences University were actually devastated yesterday when they hosted a memorial service as well for her. What sort of message would you actually send to them? Because when they see you, they probably see the minister, because you spent almost, I think it's 8 years with the minister.
It's Of course, Minister was the chancellor of the Sefako Makgatho University, and I think it's one of those accolades that came to Minister within a space of 2 years. We inducted her as the chancellor of the University of Sefako Makgatho, erstwhile Medunsa, This year, she was given the Legion of Honor. Those two key accolades that really stood out. But also, in a way, we thank the Sefako Makgatho University for the honor they gave her. It was more than just about the minister, it was also about the quality of leadership that this government has. It was in acknowledgement of that. But I think we thank the Sefako Makgatho University, but also we equally share in their pain, in their loss. We understand how it feels to lose a leader at the helm of an organization like that that's going through changes. But also we believe strongly that from her rich history, from her intellect, she was one of the most brilliant minds one has ever met, that the university would have gained knowledge and gained some insight into the type of leader she was. And I think we are here to also really thank the Lord for having given us Molewa, but to thank her for all of the years she spent with us.
Thank you so much. That was Albie Modise, the late minister spokesperson, actually sending condolences as well to staff of the Sefako Makgatho Health Sciences University, who were actually hosting another memorial service for the late minister, which goes to show that the minister actually had her hands in a lot of cups. You know, she was actually a very busy minister, and the president, when he visited the home before he jetted off to New York, actually mentioned that Minister Molewa was among the hardest working ministers in his cabinet. And with that, back to studio.
Yeah, Fencer, you know, I had an earlier conversation with Albie Modise as well, and he was saying that he used the word workaholic when referring to the minister. So no doubt her legacy and the work that she's done, not only here in South Africa, but her international reputation will very much come to the fore during today's memorial, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, we're expecting ambassadors, we're expecting a whole lot of high-profile people to actually come join in and pay their last respects for the minister. Like, she's definitely been all over the place in academia, fighting for the environment and also fighting for, you know, injustices during apartheid. So she's definitely been quite a busybody.
So just give us a bit of a tick-tock on today's proceedings. I understand that President Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to deliver the eulogy. My understanding that he was in KZN. I'm not sure if that's still the case, but what time is that expected to start?
The memorial service is actually expected to start around 11, and I think there was some sort of a misunderstanding about where the president would be today. Like you rightfully said, I think he's in KZN as well. The Naledi Pandor, Minister Naledi Pandor, is the one who's actually going to give the keynote address today. So there's nowhere in the program where it mentions the president coming or to give the eulogy or anything like that. So as we know, Naledi Pandor is the one who's actually going to give the keynote address, and the president is definitely not coming today.
Yeah, thanks for that clarification. What about the sentiment? I mean, there's been a number of memorial services in the lead up to this official one, isn't it? And no doubt you've been keeping your ears close to the ground. What sort of feeling are you getting with regards to the sentiment towards Minister Molewa?
During most of the memorial services, as you remember, I think it was last week when the Environmental Affairs Department actually hosted their own memorial service, there was a sense of great loss. The people were actually devastated, and they were saying that they were really blessed to have actually been with the minister, to have actually been able to partake in programs with the minister. Her passion actually rubbed off on them. And at the memorial service, we were at the Sefako Makgatho yesterday. The Gauteng MEC for Health actually mentioned that, well, as you can hear, there's a hive of activity now. The ladies have arrived. I hope you don't mind the noise behind me as they're busy singing there. MEC for Health in Gauteng also mentioned that Minister Molewa, when she was when they put her as the chancellor of Sefako Makgatho Health Sciences University, she took an undertaking that she was going to raise a fund for the university in order to improve the university, and she did not waste any time but to remind the MEC for Health to say that you said you would be the first to actually contribute to that fund, and she actually did that. So among most of the memorial services, you actually get a sense that it's a great loss, and they really appreciated interacting with the minister as a passion passion for everything she was doing actually showed off. Most of the ministers sometimes they would make it to serious government engagement, and other engagement they wouldn't make it onto. But with the minister, apart from her busy schedule, she still managed to attend most of those events.
Satimo, live from the capital. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Well, as you saw there, we have the State of Capture Commission